What's going on?
What's going on?
What's going on? What's going on?
Hello and welcome to What's Going On? My name is Janice Knight and I am delighted today to have with me two representatives from the Belmont Gallery of Art. Rebecca Richards, co-director and curator, and Ann Katzeff, member of the Belmont Cultural Council, web designer, and contributing artist at the gallery. Ladies, would you like to start by telling us a little about the history of the Belmont Gallery of Art?
Well, thank you, Jan. The Belmont Gallery of Art was founded approximately 10 years ago in response to a need for local artists to display their work here in Belmont. I was a member of the Cultural Council at that time, and we had a history of artists applying for grants to hang their work in the town, and there was no real dedicated space for that. That happened to coincide with the renovation of the Homer building at the same time, and we had a large cultural council at that time, and we had a couple of visionaries sitting on the council, including Jennifer Smith and Trey Klein, who is an architect. And he was able to envision the space, which was raw space on the third floor of the Homer building at that time, into a gallery. And that's the sort of the very early history. And Nan Rogers, who was also a member of the Cultural Council at that time, stepped up to run the gallery for the first 5 years it was established. And she set a very high bar in terms of the kind of work that's presented in the gallery and the expectations and so on. And we have been building upon her early success.
Oh, thank you. And does the gallery have a relationship with the Belmont Art Association?
Yeah, a very close one.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of us in the association are also involved with the gallery in various ways. So, yeah, we have some group shows. The Belmont group has at the gallery, and small work show at the end of the year in December. A lot of Belmont artists in the Belmont Art Association participate in that. So, yeah, it's a great relationship.
And who is eligible to exhibit their work, and how is that handled? How is that determined?
There is a process, and any artist can submit a proposal for a show. And that information is on the website. And they need to, write a proposal. They need to submit images along with their proposal, and then several times a year, the BGA committee, those of us who manage the gallery, decide on which of these proposals we can move forward with. We actually are very full right now. We have shows lined up through the end of, I think, February 2016. We try to plan shows out about almost a year in advance, and with shows changing approximately every 6 to 7 weeks. How many is that a year? Like 5, 6?
Right.
And we always do the school show every May and early June.
6 to 8 a year.
Yeah, 6 to 8 a year. And then we're dedicated to showing the work of Belmont students. Our teachers want to showcase the students' work, and we've been doing that from the beginning as well.
Yeah, there are some recurring shows,
Yes,
like
yes.
the school show and the small work show. And a lot of times artists informally will inquire,
Yes.
and that will get the wheels turning. We'll think about that and possibly develop it into a show, or if it's an individual, maybe we'll make it into a 3-person show.
And groups approach us too. Other arts groups. The Newton Art Association has shown their work in the gallery. We've worked with the Boston printmakers. Now this is going to be the third fall, not consistently, well, not in a row, but this November, the Boston printmakers, they have a biennial show, And the Cape Cod printmakers who are part of that group, they're going to be showing their work in the gallery.
Yeah.
But we can't forget about the 10-year show, though.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, I just, I had not heard about the school show, which I think is fabulous. What a wonderful thing to do in the community.
Yeah.
But
And you see the budding artists.
Oh,
and
It is,
it's
it's
so
inspiring.
exciting
It
seeing them
is,
with their
yeah.
families
Yes.
come in and see their work exhibited. It's very exciting for them, and there are a lot of talented young artists in the town. Yeah.
Yes.
so how is the gallery funded?
The gallery is funded by sales of work. So there's a group of us, there are 5 of us who actually manage the gallery, and Richard Hill and I are co-directors, and Anne, as you mentioned, Helen Morse and Kathy Lobo are the sort of the board, the remaining sort of overseers, if you will, of the gallery. We do have a connection to the, a remaining connection to the Cultural Council in town, but we all volunteer our time. We all have other, other types of employment or other commitments and so on, but we're very passionate about the gallery and what it represents, and so we devote many hours and a lot of hard work to running the space, because it is a lot of hard work. I mean, I can say that unequivocally, right? And I think Anne will agree with me. But it's a labor of love for those of us involved. And I think it's an amazing cultural resource here in Belmont, and I really think it is a jewel.
It's a beautiful space.
Yes.
You've been up there.
I have been up there, and I was very impressed with the building and
Mm-hmm.
the history of the building, all of which was quite amazing to
Yeah,
me.
and going back to what Rebecca said about Trey and other folks having that vision
Yes.
to see, what was it, an auditorium?
Yes,
It's
at
on the
one
3rd
time,
floor,
yes.
so you know a little bit. Why don't you tell us? Yeah,
Well-
educate us, Jan.
The building, as I understand it, was built in 1898, and it is on the federal historic buildings list. And it originally started as a high school, then became a junior high, and a middle school, and a grade school, and now it's town, and then town offices.
Yeah.
But the 3rd floor was
Was it an
auditorium.
the auditorium.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
yeah,
auditorium,
thank you.
right.
The auditorium, and special events were happened there. But now it is this beautiful gallery,
Yeah.
and it really, the lighting and everything is wonderful, and it really is a special gift.
Yeah.
And we should mention that, in keeping with the history of the building, it was designed by an uncle of Winslow Homer, the famous artist Winslow
wow.
Homer.
Oh, okay.
So it is the
That I
Homer
didn't know,
building.
yeah.
It's connected to the Homer family. I don't
It's
think
part of the cluster of buildings. So
Yes.
was
Yes.
the entire cluster designed by?
I don't know, but that's.
They
I mean,
seem related.
we will say. I think we need to point out that the one thing about the gallery is it is on the 3rd floor of the building, so
Yeah.
people have to make their way up.
Yeah.
Up the stairs or take the elevator to
Yeah.
the 3rd floor. But it's really nice.
It's worth the effort.
It is
Oh,
worth the
yes.
effort. More than worth the
Absolutely.
effort.
And there is an elevator, so.
Right.
But I
No
think
excuse.
when we realized, honestly, I didn't make the connection with Winslow Homer until maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and when we realized that connection, it added something sort of
Yeah.
an extra, dimension to the gallery, knowing that there's sort of this. Maybe it's a little bit tenuous, but there is
Energy
this
or-
connection to
Yeah.
a famous artist, who spent time in Belmont. So
Yes.
That's great. Love it.
All right, so there is a special anniversary coming up.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is the 10th anniversary of the Belmont Gallery of Art. It actually opened in July of 2005. But because summer is a little bit of a kind of a quiet time in town, we decided we wanted to wait until the fall to actually do the big celebration. So just yesterday, we were putting together some of the art. It was being dropped off by the artists. We have 73 artists in the 10th anniversary show celebrating the Belmont Gallery of Art and the artists who have participated over the last decade. And the show opens September 24th, and it's up through October 30th. And we're having a big gala reception. The community's invited on Friday, October 16th from 6 to 9 p.m. We're going to have music, and wine and delicious food and tons of great art, and there'll be a raffle that benefits the gallery and so on. So it's going to be a really wonderful evening.
So people can buy paintings that they see
Oh,
at the
yes,
gallery,
yes,
and
yes, absolutely. So most of the work, I mean, and Anne as an artist can speak to this, most of the work is for sale. There are some artists who might have a piece that's not for sale. There's just some connection. They just don't want to part with that. And we respect that because sometimes you just can't part with something you've made. But most of the art is for sale, and we do sell work, you know, at almost every show. And I just wanted to mention that, so that is a way, going back to that, that is a way that the gallery supports itself. There's no town funding. The town is generous in giving us the space, but there's no town funding for the gallery. It is self-supporting.
Right.
Yeah, through the sale of work.
self-supporting and very successful.
I
Here,
think I
10
would
years
yes,
later,
I would consider the fact that we're still there 10 years after being established to be, you know, be considered a success. Yes.
So can you tell us about shows that are going to be coming up? We've got the big gala with the new paintings and artwork going up. And do you have other plans going forward?
We
Other
do.
shows?
We have the
Cape Cod.
The Cape Cod Printmakers. That's opening in early November. I believe I think it's November 5th that show opens, and that goes until mid-December. And then we are discussing if we're going to do small works, which is usually the show that takes place in December, so people can come up to the gallery and do some holiday shopping. Pieces are priced under $200, and they're usually small in stature, I guess, or you know, they're small pieces, and people pay and just walk away, just take them with them. And then in January, we are doing our first textile art show, so we're going to be featuring some quilts and textile art, and we thought that would be an interesting show to have in the middle of winter when it's very gray and kind of bleak outside, and you come up to the gallery and there's just all of this color and just texture and so on, and hopefully it will make people feel good. And we're just discussing, so our show after that, we're discussing, excuse me, it's probably going to be collage art. So we're still, that's still in sort of the discussion stages right now, but that's probably going to be sort of the second half of February into March right now. Yeah. And again, we have other ideas that the committee discusses. There may be an artist really, you know, I could check the emails today and there might be some amazing proposal that's come in from an artist. So we're always discussing, you know, possibilities and so on. But as Ann and I mentioned, we try to have the shows programmed, you know, sometimes 6 to 8 months out in advance.
Okay.
Can we talk about past shows?
Absolutely. I was
Some of
just
our
going to ask
favorites.
your favorites.
Yeah, we've had some
yes,
Personally,
absolutely.
one of my favorites, it's a very personal one because it's the first show I was in
That's important.
in the gallery, and I had just moved to Belmont, and I was actually still participating in Somerville Open Studios, so I had promos. I heard about the gallery in Belmont. I was bringing the promo up to the gallery, and I met Nan.
Yeah.
So out of this simple, you know, gesture of wanting to drop off some postcards, I ended up having almost an hour conversation with her. She was so wonderful and generous with her time, and told me a lot about the little history of the gallery, even though I didn't know, you know, the details that you shared today. So that show, it was called something like From the Garden to the
From the garden
kitchen
to the kitchen to the
to
table.
the table.
Yes.
So I,
successful show.
you know, then went home and dug out some art that maybe, you know, some eggplants that I had painted. I don't know what I can't remember what I had in the show, but I dug up something, and I was in my first show in the gallery. So that, for me, that was a particular favorite.
And you know what Ann just said, actually, a number of artists have said that the Belmont Gallery of Art has, for a number of artists, it's been the first professional gallery venue they've had their work displayed in, and it's actually given them a sense of self-confidence about their work. Once, I think it's putting something out there that, the public is going to see, and after you've taken that step and the response has been positive and so on, then I think people feel empowered a little bit that, okay, now I'm going to do, I'm going to pursue this even more, and so on and so forth. And so I've heard that from a number of artists, and they feel, I think, a sense of gratitude towards the Belmont Gallery of Art for that opportunity. So I think that the show that Anne just mentioned actually is the favorite of a number of people, and that was a very eclectic show. For me personally, I think one of my favorite shows was we did a show of children's book art. We worked with Charles Bridge Publishing in Watertown, and it was their 25th anniversary. And I am somebody who really loves children's books and have a keen appreciation for the illustrations and so on. And we worked very closely with them. And an artist named Leslie Evans, who's in Watertown, who's illustrated many children's books. And we had 15 notable children's book illustrators have their work in the gallery. They came to the gallery to meet, children and families. And we had a book signing and selling and so on. And that was one of my favorites, and that was actually one of the most successful shows in terms of the amount of work that we sold.
Wow.
Because people could buy original illustrations from books, and we had the books also on site at the gallery. So families were coming up. We had our little book nook, and they could look at the book, and then they could walk over and see, that's the painting that's on page 7 of this book.
God.
So so that was wonderful, and and we work closely with the library because they do when they do the One Book One Belmont project. We try and have a show at the gallery that aligns with the theme of the book that they've chosen, and we did an interesting show last winter called Photo Voice, which was really. Kind of an unusual show for us in some ways. We worked with McLean Hospital's day program at Waverly Place, and we worked with their photography students and some of their creative writing students, and we had a show of their work, and that was very fulfilling in a number of ways to do that. But I mean, I've loved all the shows. I have to sometimes just like sit on my hands that I don't try to buy something from every show. That's the joke among the committee. It's like, what's Rebecca going to buy from this show? But I mean, the shows have all been wonderful, and I think again we try to do something that's new and unique, as we move forward with the shows.
I love the animal art show.
And the animal art, that was hugely successful.
That was just last fall.
That was last fall.
It was a nice way to launch a new season.
And Richard Hill,
great work,
co-director, that was his baby. And Dawn Binder, who's a veterinarian in Cushing Square, she actually was a judge. We had Best in Show. We thought we would sort of do a little play on Best of Show with the Westminster the dog show and so on, and so that was a lot of fun. That was a lot
Wonderful.
of fun.
Okay, when can people visit, and the little details that we can put in now, and information for people out there, because it really is a fascinating place and a great visit. I loved also that there were artists there that I could actually talk with the other night. And so
the hours are a bit restricted, but all day on Thursday and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then Sundays a little less than that. It's
1 to 4.
1 to 4 p.m.
And occasionally, if we think there's going to be a demand, for extended hours, we will sometimes do a Friday evening or Saturday for a few hours, around noontime, depending on what the show is. Like the children's book show, we knew that small children and families would want to see that show, so we wanted to give additional hours outside of school hours. So we were open on Saturdays for that show. And as Anne mentioned, I mean, we're going to be open Friday for the big reception. And generally, when there's a reception, it is open in the evening. I mean, it is almost always if we do an evening reception. We should also mention the Cuba show, because that was very successful.
That was really interesting too. A very timely show, because of the recent change in U.S.-Cuban relations, and that happened. It was just this past year.
It was just April and May.
April and May. Yeah.
Jonathan Hansen, who's a professor at Harvard, he's a Cuban scholar. I mean, a very learned person. It was his photography show, and which was all photographs from Havana. And then he gave a talk that was one of our most successful talks as well. Standing room only for his talk about Cuba.
So he was able to travel to Cuba as a scholar, writing a book, and became more and more interested in the culture and the people, and took pictures of his experiences and the surroundings. And I think he approached us about the possibility of the show.
So that is a great example, right, of somebody who sent an email and said, you know what, I'm really interested in maybe doing this, and then we went and met with him and looked at his work, and
wanted to make sure it would,
So and it was.
Yeah, and it did. Yeah, like, okay, so you've got some photographs, so all right, let's check them out, right? He's a nice guy, too, really, really humble guy.
So if people want to know in advance what's coming up at the gallery, they can go online.
We have a wonderful website
designed
by Anne.
Website director over here.
www.belmontgallery.org.
Very simple.
And the homepage has all the info right there. You click on any individual listing to get the details. We are on Facebook. Like us on Facebook.
We're on Facebook.
Yeah.
So we'll just mention again, so the gallery is open Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays. The specific hours will be on the website, and again, if there are any extended hours, all that information is on the website. We're very easy to find, even though sometimes people have a hard time finding us. So we're right behind, we're in the Homer building right behind Belmont Savings Bank, just off Leonard Street. So we're just, we're up there. You just take the elevator to the 3rd floor or the stairs, and you open that door, and it's going to be like a whole new world, just really amazing art. And our big festive gala is Friday, October 16th, 6 to 9 p.m. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm wondering, is there anything else that we need to mention?
Well, we're always looking for volunteers.
Oh, yes, yes.
And there are places on the website where you could, click a button and volunteer at a gallery set, or email us if you have something else in mind that you'd rather do. And
Excellent.
It's a community. It's like a community gallery.
It is,
we need,
and it's a tremendous gift to Belmont.
Yeah,
that's how we view it.
Yeah,
that's how we view
definitely.
it.
Absolutely.
And I think again, because we believe in it so much, it's why people volunteer their time and expertise and so on to make sure that it keeps going.
Yeah, I sometimes pinch myself, and I'll be walking down to the gallery to do something, and pinch myself thinking, God, I'm going to the local gallery, a 20-minute walk from my house. Who can beat that?
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, it is. It's really wonderful.
Is there any additional information you can think of that we can share that we haven't
What else
already
did we
covered?
want to talk about?
I just think the main thing is we encourage people to come and visit the gallery. I think that's really important, and we do have a number of people who come on a regular basis. Our receptions are typically quite busy, and then when there are some people who they arrive upstairs and they say, "Gee, I've been walking around for a few minutes. I couldn't find it," but once they get there, they're just so amazed actually by what they have found. Because Jan, as you mentioned early on, it's like the lighting is really just beautiful in that space, and I think that's one of the reasons it actually works so well.
It's a very warm, welcoming space.
And it's a large space.
I must say, there's something about, you see art on a website that might intrigue you, and I highly encourage people to actually go and see the art in person, because it's like night and day. There is nothing like seeing live art.
Right.
You get more about the depth and the texture, and the colors are more true, of course, because you're seeing the real thing. But it's just, I think it touches you more deeply when you see it live.
I think I told Rebecca there was one piece there that I just felt as though the woman who had created this painting of her father.
Oh yes.
I felt like I could talk to this man. It was just so wonderful.
Yes. I do want to mention one thing, because another very successful show was a couple of years ago. It was our portrait show, and very, very crowded. So like, you know, every week, streams of people coming through to see the portraits in that show. And it was a very large show, like the 10-year show. And something, you know, a few people said something to me that I really sort of took to heart and listened to and chatted with them about. They felt as though, they said they were very intimidated to visit art galleries. And they felt as though this show, it may have been a friend or neighbor who had a piece in the show, so they felt, okay, I really want to go see my friend or neighbor's piece that's in there. And once they got in there, they felt very relaxed and so on. And I said, I understand what you're saying, because let's face it, some of us, the galleries on Newbury Street, sometimes are almost austere, and you don't, you know, you don't have $10,000 to spend or whatever on a piece of art. But that's not the Belmont Gallery. I mean, we're all very friendly people, warm and welcoming, and that's what the space is like.
The
It's not an
volunteers,
intimidating space. I mean, it's a lovely, warm, welcoming space, and I feel like nobody should be intimidated at all to go up there.
Right.
We want it to be a welcoming space. That's part of what we aim for. We want to welcome the community and so on. And, you know, so people should not feel nervous or apprehensive about pushing open that door.
Yeah,
and,
you don't have to
walking
have
in.
an art degree to
No.
be there or anything like that.
The volunteers who are there are just lovely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
warm.
I mean, the artist's work, the artwork that's in there is so wonderfully executed and professionally done. And the price range is pretty wide. So I think it appeals to a very wide audience.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, I think we're running out of time.
we're running out of
So
time.
Yes. So
This was
I
wonderful.
want to thank you all for watching, and thank you, ladies,
Thank
for
you,
being
Jan.
here today.
Such a
It was-
pleasure.
It was a joy.
Thank
Yes,
you.
it
Thank you for the
was.
Very much.
opportunity.
Thanks so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thanks,
Till next
everybody.
time.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah. That was great.
Well, I'm hoping people will be less nervous to walk up those three.
Yeah, that was a good point to
those
make.
the three flights of stairs. No, I mean, when people have said that to me, I've actually been like taken like aback almost. It's, you know, that
Yeah.
because we know we're so friendly.
Yeah.
You know, we're friendly people, and it's but I think it's. They think of art gallery. Like, and you know what? You made a good point. You don't need to have an art degree. But
Right.
some people feel so. Like they say to me, "I don't know anything about art."
Right, right.
You don't
I
need to,
looked
you
at my
don't need to
papers
know
too
anything
many
about
times. I
art
wish
to
I had.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well,